Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a great Monday. No phones yet, so I got to figure out what's going on there. No magic box either. So apparently, this whole transition with Sprint and T-Mobile isn't going very well. But my voice is back. It's coming back a little bit each day. Probably just in time for Friday to be with Tina Salinas. We're going over to Channel 4 at 1 p.m. over to Channel 4 this Friday. My paperwork from Cheektowaga Town Court, don't know where that is. So I'm going to have to, I assumed they said they were going to send that stuff to me, but now it seems to me like they may have just put an arrest out, a warrant out for my arrest, which is really shitty because I did appear, and now I have no idea if they've gotten a warrant out for my arrest. But I don't have a new notification to show up. That should have been mailed out. It would have been last week, and then it should have been here by now, and it's not. I'll check my other address and see if possibly it was mailed there, but I know the last the last two times it was mailed out here to this address. So I'll keep you guys posted and apprised of what's going on. We've got a couple of other things going on this Saturday. Katie Cartwright, I just met her. Lindsay Palmisano. Lindsay Palmisano is the woman who helped with the 100 city protest for sex trafficking and human trafficking. Lindsay was partnered with Blue. Blue was the one that ended up orchestrating that whole protest across the country. So Lindsay took it on. She had a couple other individuals with her that were working with her and partnered with her originally, but then those two people flaked out, which is kind of what always happens. Katie Cartwright, she had put together everything for this Saturday in front of Buffalo City Hall down in the city of Buffalo, at Niagara Square in front there. She has her protest ready to go. And she was working with two people, and they flaked out as well. So she's kind of working on her own there. I'm gonna give Katie a call today and let her know that my services are available for her to help in any way. She was able to secure some members of the Buffalo Police Department to come on down so that they could share information with everybody regarding sex trafficking, what to look for, who they could call, what resources were there and available for other people so that they could take advantage of that stuff, which that's a testament to Katie. So thank you so much to her for being able to put that together. We also have now September 12th, Black Lives Matter, which isn't really Black Lives Matter, it's Antifa. And I was there and I saw that it was all Antifa. There were only four or five people of color there, and that was it. Everybody else is white. And so these people are Antifa. They dress like Antifa. They act like Antifa. They behave like Antifa. And that's September 12th that they're going down to East Aurora again. Where we got Russ Thompson has been involved, Teresa DiPietro is involved, Dave DiPietro is involved. Hopefully Frank Panizak is going to get involved with his group. They had the March for Blue Lives protest this past Saturday, I believe it was, and they had a huge turnout of about 1,500 people over at Grantwick Park. So that was an awesome turnout, guys. Really encouraging. So if you're not a member of the 1791 Society, Frank Panizak is a part of that. Russ Thompson is also a part of that. I guess Russ was really big with the Tea Party movement back in the day. So maybe take a look at, I don't know if he has a page still, but Tea Party of Buffalo or Tea Party of Western New York or Tea Party of Erie County. You definitely want to take a look into that and see, if you can find Russ. But they were able to put together a rally of 1,500 people where there were all motorcycles there were tuner cars, there were, showman cars, and then there were big trucks and Jeeps there with their flags. So really, really great turnout. Sharif, he was sharing some of those pictures with me in my email, but then also in Messenger. Looked like a really, really great event. So that was great. Marching Patriots also. Marching Patriots, put it on your calendar. This Thursday, they are having a protest at the corner of Delaware and Sheridan in Kenmore. And that's right by the Tops. It's there's also a Mighty Taco there. So if you want to show up, bring your American flag. Bring any patriotic material that, or anything that you can. Attire. Anything to carry, whatever you want to bring patriotic items and march with those guys. They had an incredible turnout. The last one in East Aurora, they had about 64 people, so that was their largest by far. And that group is Mike Segul and Desiree Segul. They're a couple, and they're working very hard to get this information out there to show people that there are a lot of people like them that are fed up with the nonsense. They are fed up with the lockdown. Yes, we're fed up with government too, just like Antifa, but we're all working hard to make sure that we're tearing it apart the right way, that we're not trying to instill fear and panic and terror into people. We're not trying to block streets. We're not trying to loot, vandalize, terrorize, graffiti, defame, pour paint all over, destroy, start on fire. Nobody in these groups is trying to do that stuff. Nobody. We are all peacefully assembling and we're all peacefully protesting. As a matter of fact, it's so funny because when we protest, we contact local law enforcement. We let them know that, hey, we are going to be protesting. We're going to be here. This is what we're going to be doing, and this is how it's going to go. And local law enforcement never has any issue. When we first started our protests, the protests at Niagara Square, it was, rolling protest. It was, older men and women with children, mothers with children. And you had police all over the place. You had armed police up on rooftops for our protests when we first started. And, that's kind of subsided. But what hasn't gone away is in our protests, police will say, hey, here are local codes. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to stick in this lane. You have to stay on the sidewalk. And when it comes to Antifa, they just let them do whatever they want, or Black Lives Matter. When they're doing a protest, they get to block traffic, they get to stand in front of vehicles, they get to yell at vehicles, they get to terrorize people in their vehicles. But we got to abide by the law, and why is that? Why the double standard? Our groups are comprised of people that are intelligent people, extremely smart people, extremely capable people, extremely accomplished people, well-researched people, people that have been involved in politics, people that have gone in front of assemblies or congressional hearings, local, state hearings, legislative hearings, to the courts to watch everything go down. They've been asked to present, they've spoken as an expert or an authority on a certain topic. And those are the people that are protesting with us. But we're marginalized. We're ostracized. We're vilified. We're villainized the entire time, right? We're said that, hey, these protesters are bad people. They're not wearing masks. They're putting everybody in harm's way. That was the narrative, right? And now the narrative shifted. You got to say one thing, and this is what I'm always trying to preach here: organization, structure, discipline, focus. On the other side, they have a handful of people that are very good at keeping everybody organized, structured, focused, and disciplined, and on task, and on point. They're very good at that. That's where we fall short. All the great minds that we have, where we fall short is we stay fragmented. We stay fractured. We don't stay, I don't know if coalesced is the right word, but I'm going to use it anyways. We don't stay We don't stay one-minded and singular-minded with each task that we take on. And how many times I've said, hey, this is what we need to do. Whatever group that you're in, stay on point, stay on task. Get as many people behind you supporting as you possibly can. Get as many group leaders, other group leaders, to support what's going on, and use those groups to share all of that information, that what is happening. Then and only then, when we do that, will we be effective. Until then, we're going to be ineffective, guys. We're just going to be a bunch of people going out there and doing things that aren't really making a difference. Now, today I've got a list of things that I need to do. I need to contact Tina Salinas so that I can give her as much information as I possibly can about Friday's protest. I'm going to contact Gina Kay because she and we've got 70 days to put together a plan to try to get all of you out there supporting all the candidates that are worth supporting, so that we can get that word out to all the voters in every single possible way that we can, because that, guys, is going to be the way that we make the change. That is the way that we can make the change right now. So I know a lot of people, and then today I'm going to look, I took a screenshot of all the women that were interested in helping with the Restaurant Coalition. So I'm going to be reaching out and starting a group with that today as well. I'm going to be reaching out to a bunch of different restaurant owners, inviting them out, extending the invitation out to what we've got going on with that meeting, to try to empower everybody against the health department. And I've got a couple other people that I need to contact today as well. But, that's me trying to be focused, structured, organized, scheduled, and disciplined. You can do the same thing with whatever you've got going on. I've got a scheduler and a planner, a high performance planner that Joe Palladino gave me that I keep promising I'm going to use, and I'm not. So I need to get into that habit. But what I have been doing is I've at least been putting everything in my calendar on my phone. And that makes it real, because it means that I then have to reach out to somebody, when I'm doing it. If I don't, I failed myself, and I failed that other person, and I failed all of you guys. So at least I'm staying on point. I'm staying on task. I'm moving the ball a little bit forward every day with what we've got going on. And don't get frustrated. You guys, a lot of you guys saw me frustrated and probably a little bit, the wind out of my sails. There's another word I'm looking for there, but it's right there at the tip of my tongue. But a little deflated, that's the word. You probably saw me a little deflated on Saturday with my live, but I wasn't, guys. I really wasn't. I just needed to think about it and put everything into the context that it is. If you have been inspired and motivated for whatever reason to do whatever little part it is that you're doing right now, whether you've created a group, whether you've supported me, whether you've supported one of the groups that we are, whether you're involved in one of the groups that you're involved in, all too often what we do is we start out of the gate, we're running so fast, right? And then, we lose our win. We lose our motivation. We lose our drive. It's a marathon, guys. It's definitely that old adage. Gotta be in it for the long haul. Don't get discouraged. Don't get disheartened. Don't get frustrated. And if you do feel any of those things, turn them around. Use them to help you be better. Use them to help move whatever it is that you're doing even further along. Don't let it beat you down. Don't let it frustrate you guys. You guys have seen me on here in all different kinds of moods. You've seen me happy. You've seen me angry. You've seen me very angry at certain times. But not often do you see me kind of discouraged and frustrated or deflated. And I think and the reason for that is, one, I don't want to communicate that to you guys that I'm that way. Even if I may be feeling that for whatever reason, I have to be strong for you guys. I have to make sure that you guys feel like Pete's got this. Pete's got my back. And that's the truth. I do feel like that. Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, well, what do you do to kind of chill and decompress? And honestly, as whacked out as it sounds, honestly, I mean, dancing over at Patty's house, dance party, or, Courtney and I going on, video chats together, those, and everybody's right there, or being able to talk to people on the phone. Yesterday I was able to talk with Rosalind a little bit, and she wants to get involved with the child trafficking. Anybody that I'm able to talk to in any of these groups, John Winstead and Jeb and Jesse and, Rose, everybody, Dorothy, talking to her, Lindsay, Katie now, all the people that Devin, being able to talk to Devin and Taylor. Oh my God, Taylor always, and Gina too. I mean, they're just both of them. They're just incredible. But, Gay, talking to Gay, Jen and Jill, Stephanie and Scott Ball and Ed. And, it is just amazing to be able to have this support network. And, and even now Mike and Desiree Segul, this whole thing is a family, guys. And we don't have to be divided amongst the different groups. We really don't. Like, all the groups can come together when we need to come together. That pride and that ego and that, being maybe a little bit selfish or self-absorbed or wanting the notoriety or the accolades, that's all BS. That's all BS. That's elitist bullshit right there. You can be thankful for what this other person is doing and support them completely. Like, you can do that. You can, go out and, a lot of people are like, well, this happened with this group or this happened with that. Guys, let it go. Everybody is working hard and trying to do something and accomplish something together, collaboratively, as a unified unit. Just imagine what we would accomplish if we made every one of the things that are important to us, if we made what's important to others as important as that is, those things that we make important to us and priorities, if we were even able to do that with just one other thing during the course of the week, imagine the difference that would make. If you said, you know what, this protest, it doesn't really mean, or the rally doesn't really mean as much to me. I've got so many other things going on. It only takes an hour or two, guys. That's all it takes to show up to one of these rallies, to show up to one of these marches, to listen to what somebody has to say, about getting out there and voting, coming out and supporting me at court, whatever it is, people that have done that, for me. You guys can do that, all the different groups that are out there. So for me, I try not to ever come across as deflated. I know on Saturday it seemed like I was a little bit. I'm trying to actually polish myself, trying to keep, my essence of everything that's me, and my spirit and my individuality that I bring to these things that have inspired you guys. But at the same time, I'm trying to be a little bit, the things that I need to tweak, the advice, the suggestions that people give me, I always try to apply those if I feel like if I feel it's appropriate, or if I feel like it's going to benefit everyone as a whole. And, I think that's what we can all do. So don't ever worry about me, being deflated or down. Last week on Saturday, I think that a lot of thoughts were going through my mind, but I was invigorated. It definitely is. It gets the endorphins popping, right? It gets everything going inside you when you do those kinds of things, and especially when people tell you, hey, you did a great job messaging me. I want to be a part of this movement. I want to do a little bit more. What can I do? And when you're scheduling meetings with these people, as well as all the other meetings that I've had with trying to make this thing grow, that's encouraging. That's so encouraging, and it's uplifting to me. But what needs to happen is that every single one of you that watch these videos, every single one that has been inspired by me, remain inspired, remain vigilant, remain focused, remain dedicated to whatever it is that you're approaching and trying to improve. Just keep with it. Pay attention to the people that are out there that want to help you. Create your list. Get a notebook. I don't even know how many notebooks that I keep, that I try to keep all different kinds of information there that I can refer to. I take screenshots, whatever works for you in an administrative type of way, in a record keeping kind of way, do it. But write that stuff down and make sure you're being disciplined with that, because you don't want people to slip through the cracks, because when people slip through the cracks, that is an opportunity that's missed. And I can't do it all. I say that all the time, guys. I try to do as much as I can, but I can't do it all. And when each one of us becomes a leader in whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, we're going to be way stronger and way more powerful. Because when I can go through my texting tree and I can reach out to every single one of the leaders in all the groups and say, hey, I need a call to arms. I need a call to action for this. This is important. And, I need to make sure I'm handling that in a responsible way. I need to make sure that I'm reaching out to the groups in a way that I'm not abusing it. I'm not just exhausting that request. Oh, hey, I need you guys for this. I need you for this. Those times I need to be selective with and say, hey, make you aware of this event. It would be awesome if you show up. If you can't, I get it. Here's what's going on. Here's the location. Here's who's running it. Here's who needs the help. Here's what she needs. Here's what he needs. If they can contribute in any way, please reach out to them. And then if there are those big events that we say, hey, like this past weekend, guys, I need you there. Voting, guys, I need you there. I need you to get this information out. I need you to sign this petition. I need you to call these legislators and these senators, these local officials. I need you guys there for that. In those instances, people got to show up. People have to get their asses up out of their chairs and go to where it is that they want to go. Yesterday, I talked about the Second Amendment people. And, it's really kind of a shame with the Second Amendment people how large their numbers are in this state. And I don't care if they're moderates, if they're liberals, if they're independents, if they're conservative. I don't care what your belief system is. But if you support the Second Amendment, you're in all likelihood a constitutionalist to some degree. And right now you have to recognize that we are not in a U.S. constitutional state right now. For the past almost 7 months, our rights and freedoms have been completely stripped. How does that not upset these Second Amendment people? How is that not a call to action for them? They just want to sit on the sidelines and say, hey, I'm not going to vote. I never vote. We're not going to make a difference. Okay, well, if you're not going to vote, you're definitely not going to make a difference. You're absolutely not going to make a difference if you're not going to vote. But why not have to resort to a revolution? Why not have it be a peaceful revolution? Why not take this thing back right now when we can, utilizing the hundreds of thousands or millions of people who are Second Amendment people? Why not use you guys and girls to do something to help every one of these groups? And I know that you're probably discouraged. Scope was out there, and they undermined that group. Constitutional Coalition is still out there, and they're registered and sanctioned. These groups are different, guys. These people in these groups right now are true patriots. They are fighters. There's no organization or group. We're operating like Antifa and Black Lives Matter does. We've taken a page from their book. We don't want to be recognized where they can put plants in and they can register and record and log everything that we're doing in this individual so that they can attack them through, whatever government that the agency that they want to, that they're going to weaponize against you. We don't want them to undermine the organization and the vision and the goals of the organization. So we don't have an organization. We're just operating with groups on Facebook and coming together at rallies and meeting privately and independently in small groups, small tight groups of people that we know, that everybody knows. Now, can people infiltrate that and spread information? Absolutely they can. But we're operating in a way that is far more efficient now. Out of the ability for government, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, any of those parties, to be able to put plants in. And we know that that is happening. We know that that's why you guys are discouraged and frustrated. You guys and girls are discouraged and frustrated. We're not operating that way. We're operating in anonymity. And we're operating the same way because that anonymity is protection. But we need you guys. We need the truckers. We need the tuner car guys. We need the muscle car guys. We need the bikers. We need the vets. So when I'm talking to you guys about networking all of these groups and this information, this has been something I've been talking about for a very, very long time. If you have access to, or contact or connections, or you're a leader in any of those groups at all, you need to let us know. If there's a group of medical professionals that are conservative minded, we need them. Bankers, we need them. Attorneys, we need them. Across the board, we need all of those different people on board. And I've created a list of all the different sectors that we need to have of like-minded people that we could go out and start to affect and impact change. Ex-law enforcement, current law enforcement being another one. This way we give all of these people who have a voice and want to express their voice, but they can't express their voice because what has happened is a handful of liberals, radical liberals, have taken over at the top. They've taken over at your school, they've taken over at your college, they've taken over at your place of business, they've taken over at the hospitals, they've taken over at all the volunteer organizations, the charities, they've taken over. And you know that there are a lot of people there that feel and think just like you do, but you can't say or do anything because of the way that these other people are going to react, and for fear that you're going to lose your job or lose business. You're going to lose business contacts. You feel like you can't do anything. You feel like you're just strangle-held. You feel like you're just being choked out and silenced and repressed and oppressed. There are other people like you. If you want to invite those people to our page, if you want to invite those people to any one of the other pages that are out there right now that are doing great work, invite them, because then they will see that there are other people out there that think and feel just like them. When you are surrounded every day, I could give you 100 examples right now of all the names in my head, of people who are teachers, people who work at Home Depot, people who are professors, people who work with attorneys, people who work in medicine and in hospitals, that all of these people, they go to work every day and that's what they see. That's their world. Every day they see liberal, 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 liberal. And if you see that every single day, you think that that's all there is in the world. But there's not. There are a lot of people that think and feel just like we do. And it extends past party lines, guys. Rosalind, I got to speak with Rosalind yesterday. Good morning, Rosalind. And she's like, look, I am a moderate or an independent. I'm an independent, which I really am too. My views go all over the place. My political ideologies go all over the board. This extends past that. This is what we're doing is a patriot movement that's a constitutional movement that's about freedom and making sure every single one of our freedoms are protected and taken back, and made sure that laws, enforceable laws, actionable laws, that when somebody breaks and violates that, any of it, in any degree or any capacity, that we are able to hold them accountable. Now that's not happening. People are breaking laws constitutionally, and they should, there are even laws on the books that you can hold these people accountable. And right now, they're not being held accountable. They're breaking the laws that are on the books, and they're not being held accountable. But they're holding Stefan Mihailu accountable for campaign finance violations. They held, I can't remember his name, I'm lost his name again, for insider trading. The guy and his son from Australia, they did something with Australia with one company. They held him accountable with insider trading. But dozens of politicians prior to this lockdown, they all let go of their stocks. That's insider trading. Millions of dollars that these people let go because they were in the know. They let their stocks go. Nothing happened to them. Nothing criminal happened to them. So, you let these people know that that are like-minded. It doesn't matter what party affiliation they have. Let them know that there's a home. Bring them to our page. They can start seeing the posts. And guys, if you see somebody on our page that posts something that you like, make sure you like it. Make sure you love it. Make sure you comment on it. Yesterday, you saw a couple of people that posted a couple of different things. And John Wanglin, he and I we were close back in the day when we were in high school. We knew each other in high school. And John is, has some very different ways of thinking about things. And, I give him credit for posting his opinions and trying to at least express himself in a way that says, hey, this may be wrong. Like, I give him credit for that. I definitely give him credit for that. And trying to, engage people in conversation. But Devin engaged him yesterday, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I love Devin's responses. Devin's responses are always incredible. And, just like so many of you guys, Rich Stacy, oh my God, freaking guy, love him. It's so many of you others that respond to these people. The names are just flowing through my head. But you guys respond to everybody, and it's great because I don't even have to respond anymore. I don't need to engage negatively. I let you guys fight that fight. And, Devin did a great job. He's like, the list of 269 businesses that are supporting Antifa and Black Lives Matter at this point. And the list is even bigger, that we've seen it, how they're trying to normalize, extreme radical terrorist organizations that are looting and rioting and burning and destroying property. And nobody is getting arrested. Like, how is that possible? How have the police just said, hey, we're going to arrest this 18-year-old who came into New York City and went in the Empire State Building because she's got a gun. We're going to arrest this other guy because he's got a ghost gun. But were these people that burned an entire dealership down, entire towns down, law enforcement's not even going to try to find those people. It shows you how limited police resources are. And what that should tell you is this. To disassemble and dismantle their system that is oppressing us right now, if law enforcement can't even go after the destruction of property of an entire auto dealership, if they can't go after people for destroying a town, then we need to employ the tactics that these people are using so that we can tear apart the health department, the SLA, town and county governance, the people that are being weaponized against us to say that you have to stay locked down. Your business has to stay shut down. You can't go to work. You can't go to church. You can't assemble. You can't play sports. You can practice sports, but you can't play sports. You're not allowed to go to the gym. You're not allowed to go to this business. You're not allowed to go to that business. Guys, when I tell you, when you think that when you think that it's not that, when you think it's too big, it's not. It really is not that big. And the examples are this. East Aurora police allowed 100 people to occupy their town on Saturday. 100 people to occupy their town. And that's the case all the time. You're not seeing anybody arrested for the vandalism. You're not seeing anybody arrested for the terror activities. These groups, these government agencies are not that big. 40 people. Okay, yeah, health department hired 40 more people, which, really? Like, are you kidding me? That's where your priorities are right now, is to shut small businesses down. If that doesn't piss you off enough to act, I don't know what will. 40 more people they hired. But that's just 40 people, guys. And you say, well, yeah, but there's not that many restaurants and businesses. I get it, guys, but there aren't that many of them. And when they can't even arrest somebody for destroying property, rioting, looting, starting fires, arson, destroying statues, vandalizing and spraying graffiti, when they can't even arrest one person for that, and they're allowing all these towns to be occupied by 100 people or less, or right around 100 people, what are we afraid of? Like, seriously, what are we afraid of? Cheektowaga, you probably, with law enforcement and everybody else, you probably have 300 or 400 people. Cheektowaga probably has, 60 to 70 or 80,000 people in it? Guys, maybe even more. And you're letting 300 or 400 people control and dictate what happens in our lives. The county, it's the same thing. You have the health department, you have the SLA, and then you have the county executive and the board of or the legislators or the board, whatever it is. That's all you have. County sheriffs, they don't have any stake in this fight at all. Most local law enforcement, as we're seeing, they don't have any stake in this fight, and they're not willing to put their necks on the line. When will we realize that? When will we use the power that we have to take those entities back? To say, enough is enough. You're out. Get out. And we have to have a plan, though. You can't just get rid of the person. You have to get rid of the person, and you have to have somebody else that can fill that seat. And you have to have somebody that's capable to fill that seat so that they can do the things that are the right way, do things the right way, that are constitutional, that don't violate current laws, that don't violate freedoms and liberties. And that's one of the things I think that our group, command center that I call it, the group of people that are just, they were busy last week, but this week we're back on track. We'll have another meeting on Thursday. That's what Gina is really involved in. Teresa, same thing. She's just extremely intelligent and, highly motivated. And everybody else that we're working with, we're trying to do that. We're trying to make sure we take a look at people who want to be candidates so that we can support you. Obviously, this election cycle we're too far along in, but for next year, any of the elections that are coming up, Gina is a genius on that. She knows exactly what's happening. She knows all of it. Some of you other guys that just have emailed me, you're geniuses too. I have a whole list of researchers that I'm going to need to call on to get this information and compile this data so that we can take a look at candidates that we can put up for every single one of these political offices. If it comes down to where we have to remove these people from office, then we have somebody else that can fill the void. And I hope it doesn't come to that. I don't know, even how to execute that, but we're taking a look into it because it is an option that we may have to exercise. You want to try to do it at the voting booth, but, sometimes people aren't getting out and voting, and the change needs to happen. So it's not too big, guys. It really isn't. The numbers that they have are very, very small. And like I said, it's evidenced by how law enforcement reacts, how they don't arrest anybody, how Buffalo PD isn't really arresting anybody when they're doing things. So we can take this thing apart. We can take it back. A small group of people are taking it back from are destroying it and taking it from us at this point. Such a small group of people. So I just want to recap on the events. Thursday, 6:30, Marching Patriots up at Delaware and Sheridan. Thank you, Mike and Desiree, for putting that together. That's going to be 6:30, Delaware and Sheridan. And I think they're going to go for about an hour, maybe two, something like that. Friday, Tina Salinas is 1 p.m. in front of Channel 4. She's got signs made up and everything else. If you guys want to join us, please let me know that you're going to be there. Also, Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. in front of Buffalo City Hall, Katie Cartwright is putting together another, Save the Children protest. And I want to let you guys know this, that the Underground Railroad, Lindsay Palmisano, she wanted to get involved with the Underground Railroad because she felt like it was a organization that represented her beliefs in a more professional way, a more organized way. Unfortunately, on Underground Railroad, who I believe is a good organization, who Lindsay believes is a good organization, has been influenced by their donors to not run any more protests, no more rallies, until things settle down. I don't know what that means. You think that the one child every 30 seconds that is being victimized across the world, I mean, it may be 30 seconds in this country. I don't know what the number is, but you think it's going to settle down for them? Now, I don't know what went into I don't know what went into that decision, but I'm going to guess that the way we're seeing it with social media giants silencing or removing movies that were up for a year and a half, with Facebook blocking pages, other social media content, YouTube blocking videos, blocking pages that are covering pedophilia and sex trafficking, real stories. Like, what do they have to gain? Netflix putting videos on that glorify and pedophilia. So when you take a look at it, you can see how big the monster is, and all the people and players that are doing everything that they could protect it. The one guy from Black Lives Matter, he was for the founder of it, with pedophilia, having sex with an underage individual. That's what these people are. And that's where their tentacles extend into, everywhere. So that was discouraging that Underground Railroad said no more rallies. And then I told Lindsay, she had said, hey, Pete, I kind of get what you were saying the other day in your video. And I said, Lindsay, don't get discouraged. I said, we can do our own thing. We don't need them. I said, essentially, you did what you did to bring everybody there. Doing it the way that we did it to promote, then you did it, not me. I just gave some suggestions. You were able to accomplish that. We can do that again. There are a lot of people that support this movement, and we cannot let that die. But those are the protests that are going on this week. So I covered it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's really all that I'm aware of right now. There is the Trump boat rally. So Renee, I'm going to be out on the boat with Renee and Bart and Tina and Alyssa. They're doing like a Trump rally on Labor Day, I think it is. So that'll be fun. Whether you agree with him or not, I do. I think the guy's great. But I'll be out for that. If you've got a boat, or anybody that's out on a boat, I'll be out there doing it from the small boat harbor. But Joe Palladino is going to be out there as well. I don't know whose boat he's going to be on, but he's going to be out there as well. So I think that's everything I have, guys. I went a little bit long. Apologize for the length on this one, but there was a lot to say. Enjoy your days. Love you guys as always. If I hear or see anything, or if you guys hear or see anything, let me know. I'll come back on. Have a great day, guys. Love you.